Hello everyone, it's Tim from rESCwatch and welcome back to a new video. We've missed you in this long break. Today I'm going to talk about qualifier predictions for Eurovision 2025, and with me is sadly not Paolo or Sam, but we have Mr. Panu from our UMK 2022 video. It's been a long time, but we're still friends. Hello Panu.
Hi! Surprisingly, we are still friends, and I am happy to be back.
Yes, we're glad to have you. So the way we're going to do this is going through the running orders and then talk about who we think is qualifying and who we think is not. And of course, there might be some disagreements, so let's see how this works out. In semifinal 1, starting the show is Iceland. And I think we disagree already, because I said it's not qualifying.
I actually said that Iceland is qualifying. I didn't really like the song the first time I heard it, but this is one of my biggest growers of the year. It is fun, it is catchy, I think they are great performers, this is a great opener, so I wouldn't be surprised if people would pick their phones up and vote for this song. Like, I do see the televote appeal in Iceland.
I do see your point, but I think it falls in line with many entries this year, which are just a little bit loud and a little bit like too much in your face. And I think only a certain number of entries like this can qualify. So, and also they're like, I would say their main audience is like children, teenagers. They're trying to be very with the times. They're streaming Minecraft. They have their own Discord server and it's fun. I'm not saying like, I would wish for them to qualify, but I just don't see like older people who are also watching. Not maybe as a majority, I don't see them picking up the phone necessarily to vote for this, especially when we have so many strong upbeat songs in this semi-final. So
I mean, I understand your point, and part of me actually even agrees with you. Part of me thinks that Iceland is not going to the final, but then also part of me thinks that they are in fact going to the final. But I don't know, am I just being delusional about it? Is it just my bias towards Nordic countries? Maybe it is. I don't know.
Maybe. Alright, let's move on to Poland, and I think we both said that it will qualify, and we both don't like the song.
Yeah, I think this is like a messy song, and I really do not like this song at all. I am sorry.
It might be messy, but unlike Luna from last year, she has powerhouse vocal. I'm not saying Luna can't sing, because she absolutely can, but I think that was a big part of why it fell flat, not just the staging and the song. I mean, I liked the song last year. And it was a little bit shocking that they didn't qualify, because Poland is Poland, they have big diaspora. And this song, I mean, it's a lot going on. As I said, for me personally, it's not my favorite to listen to. But I just have to commend her for doing all that. And this is like in your face, but maybe more televote friendly than Iceland. So.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate Justina. I think she is a great performer, and I think Poland is one of the safest qualifiers in the semifinal.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, we're gonna talk about Slovenia. And we both said it's not qualifying. However, and I have to say this, and first of all, greetings to my local, Miss Marino. She put this in her top 5 in her ranking overall. And I think that's very brave, because I think you're in the minority, girl. This song is very sweet. The message is really nice. But I just think that even though we have many upbeat songs, and he's like going upside down and all these crazy things, I just don't think it's enough. I think the song, it does build, but it's not like a crazy powerhouse ballad, you know, like it doesn't really ever reach the heights that it needs to.
I have to say that I appreciate the personal message behind it, and I think it is really sweet. However, I don't think the song offers particularly anything new, and I think this is pretty much dead on arrival, and I wouldn't be surprised if this would end up last in the semi-final.
Well, we will see about that. Next up, I think we don't have to talk about this in detail. It's Estonia. I think it's a pretty safe qualifier.
It's qualifying.
Next. Next up, probably another of the safer ones. It's Ukraine. And even though this is not their strongest entry, we all know that they have diaspora from the war. And there will be people who love this. There will be like alternative lovers out there. Definitely. I'm not saying people just vote for the sympathy to the country, but it helps.
I mean, this is other Crover for me. I didn't like this song when it was selected, but later on I have fell in love with this song, and I think this is pulling a top 5 result in the semi-final, and I think Ukraine is gonna get another great result in the grand final.
I don't know about the final, but they're definitely in. So let's move on to another big player. It's Sweden, who will probably win the semi-final. This is like the televote bait number 1, if not for Estonia, of course. Yeah. Any comments?
Well, first of all, I am really proud that a Finnish band is representing Sweden in Eurovision. As you mentioned, this could easily win the semi-final. This could win the whole thing, actually. So obviously, it would be stupid to say that this is not qualified.
Okay, next in the running order, we have Portugal, which I said will qualify. I'm the strong believer, and I wasn't even a fan of this song at first when it won Festival da Canção. But I have to say, it's a vibe, and I think it really stands out. And in contrary to Clemen with his song, I think that this has more of an audience in Europe, in certain countries like Switzerland and Ukraine, and yeah, countries that value this chill, vibey music. And I would just hope it for them, because Portugal is one of my stand countries, and the boys seem nice. I don't know, it's a grower. This is like, for me, probably one of the biggest growers.
For me, this song doesn't really offer anything new. However, I could see this qualifying. If you would ask me about qualifiers, probably like next week, Portugal could potentially be there. And my reasoning behind it is that when, for example, in 2021, people thought that Portugal is a certain non-qualifier, it actually wasn't. It was like a televote qualifier, and it got over 100 points, I think, from the televote.
Exactly.
So that's why I think that this could either qualify or not qualify. This is kind of like a borderline country for me.
And I think if they are in the final, they will get a good jury score. I mean, not like Yolanda, not as high, but they will get a respectable score.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Okay, next up, we have Norway with Kyle Alessandro. I think this is pretty safe. It's a good pop song. It's well performed. He has charisma. It has like a concept on stage. I don't really know what could go wrong. I think this can finish in the top 5 of the semi.
I think this is pretty much the safer one of the safer qualifiers in the semi-final. I have to say that Melody Grand Prix wasn't that good this year, and I think Kyle Alessandro was mostly one of the only options they had, and I am really glad that they took that direction, and this could actually end up in top 10.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much possible. I hope, though, that next year MGP will get better again.
Yeah.
And don't take it as a signal that you can keep this quality. Yeah, moving on to Belgium. I know this is a little bit controversial because he won his national final with such a big score, and I think that the quality of the Belgian national final was quite good. So I was expecting him to have more hype, but somehow, at least from what I'm seeing, doesn't really have that. Of course, it's not needed for qualifying. I think he will qualify, but it's surprising to me that this has kind of been a little bit forgotten.
I don't really like this song. I never really liked this song. I think Belgium was lucky that they got drawn into the first semi-final and not the second semi-final, because in the second semi-final there is Austria, who is serving like high vocals, and Red Sebastian is doing kind of the same thing. So if they would be in the second semi-final, I feel like that could hurt Belgium's chances to qualify, but now when they are in the first one, I do think this is safely going to the final.
Well, yes. Next up, we have Azerbaijan, and you know what? This is like a pretty nice radio song, also with higher vocals. And I just don't know how they would stage this. I'm seeing like not really a concept. I don't know how this could be a little bit elevated to be a qualifier, because I think many people think it's nice, but not really, not really vote for it.
I feel like this is too much of a radio song. I don't think this is made for Eurovision stage. I think this is made for radio. I don't think this is competitive enough to qualify, and I don't know how they are gonna make this work as like a live performance, as like, yeah.
Yeah, for a live performance.
Yeah.
Up next, we have San Marino with Tutta l'Italia, the Sanremo theme. And yeah, San Marino always struggles just because it's a really tiny country. And even if they sing a good song, I mean, Adrenalina barely qualified, I think. Weren't they like 9th place or 10th place? I'm not sure. And that flopped in the final too. And this is not better than 2021. It's a nice, once again, it's pretty much radio, but with a little Italian twist. I just don't think the DJ stuff works at Eurovision. It never has, and I think it almost never will. I don't know how they can make the performance more dynamic, but this is not qualifying, probably.
I mean, I do see the televote appeal in this song. It has its fans, but what we have seen in pre-parties, this looks really empty on stage. So I don't really think this is gonna work that well on Eurovision stage. So that's why I am leaning towards San Marino not to qualify. And that's really sad, as you mentioned, San Marino always struggles, and I see that pattern again.
Yeah, but you know who does have high chances? Albania, which is the next song. I'm so happy they picked this. It's one of my favorites. And the public loves Albania every time, but I think especially this year, they have a smash hit. It's unique, it's fun, it's an Albanian. The staging will be pretty nice. I forgot who they're working with, but I have no doubts that this is qualifying, of course.
Albania is also one of my favorites this year. I think it is really nice to see countries who don't have hype that often having hype this year. Albania is one of those countries, and I can see them easily pulling a top 3 in this semi-final, and I hope that also in the grand final they get a good result.
Yes. Next up, we have another pretty radio-friendly song. It's the Netherlands. As you all know, or maybe not, because I haven't told anyone, this is not one of my favorites, but I have to see the appeal, and the appeal is definitely there. I see it in the fan polls, I see it almost everywhere that I can access. That this is definitely qualifying. Do I think the lyrics are cringe? Yes. Does it matter? No, because he can sing, he's charismatic, and you go.
You know, if you would type on Google basic song, this would show up. I think this is the most basic pop song we have this year. I don't like the lyrics. I don't get the hype around Netherlands. However, of course, I think this is one of the safer qualifiers this time, and I think in the grand final it could also get like respectable tourist score.
Goes up and down and around and around. C'est la vie. Thank you, Claude. Next up, we have Croatia. And Croatia, for me, is kind of like Poland in a way that for me, it's too messy. But Croatia has far less support from the general public. And yes, Marko is really talented, charismatic. But the song is just not clicking. It's not accessible for the broader public. I think if he went with something like his 2022 Dora song, he would have definitely qualified. And it's sad because he has so much potential. But in this economy, honey, you're out.
I love Marco. I think he is an amazing artist, and I am super glad that he gets to experience Eurovision now. However, I don't think this song is like really friendly for like general public. I don't really see the appeal. So yeah, I think Croatia is not qualifying this time, and it is actually pretty sad for me because they had like a public favorite last year, and now they are certain non-qualifier.
Exactly, like how do you go from fan favorite to pretty much last place in the odds? Also, Croatia doesn't have any really neighbor support at all in the semifinal. So it's pretty much, I'm not saying that on arrival, we can be surprised, but I'm just not seeing it. And lastly, but not least, there is Cyprus, which we both said will qualify. Once again, this song is actually one of my least favorites from this year. But knowing Cyprus and their track record and the fact that they always turn out some crazy staging and always have dancers or some new concepts, I wouldn't be surprised if this does make it. Do I think it's a little bit dated? Yes. Do I think his voice sounds weird? Yes. However, I have to be realistic, and yeah, so this is qualifying.
Yeah, I think Cyprus is pretty much a safe qualifier. They are first of all working with Czechia, the person who was behind Bambi Thug's staging last year, and yeah, I think they are gonna do something creative and crazy with the staging. And on top of that, Cyprus is performing last in the running order, so I think that helps them a lot. I think they are pretty much safe because of that.
Yeah, it's a big bonus, definitely. Okay, that was the first semi-final, and we only really disagreed on one country, which is weird because with Paulo and Sam I had a lot of disagreements actually. Of course, it's different with 3 people and not just 2. And you and me have very similar tastes, so it's not very surprising if you know us. Let's move on to the second semi-final, and we're starting with Australia. I think this is qualifying. It's quirky, it's fun. Does he have the best vocals? Probably not, but I don't think locals will care about this. And knowing that it's 100% tellable, but I think even if the juries were there, they love Australia, so it will not be a problem. I also think that Electric Fields was a little bit robbed last year. I'm one of the few who defend that performance with my life. Yes, it's silly, yes, it's a little bit dirty, but you know, if you're in for the fun and it's the opener, then you would vote for this.
Yeah, I think this is a great opener, and I think this is one of the safer qualifiers in the semi-final. I really don't have like deeper comments about Australia.
All right. Next up is Montenegro, and they're finally back with a familiar face. And I do like Balkan ballads in general. I just think that sometimes the quality. I I mainly like them from like the 2000s and 2010s, and they're starting to get less, which is a little bit sad. This is not one of the better Balkan ballads, but I think it's nice. I just don't see it qualifying, especially with the lacking neighbor support, just like Croatia, because the Balkans are like withdrawing, sadly due to finances. But I wish her all the best.
Yeah, I mean, I am glad that Montenegro is back in Eurovision. However, I don't think this song is strong enough for the grand final. Um, I mean, I really do not see any chances for this to qualify. But yeah, I wish all the good luck for Nina. I think she's great.
Mm. But there's another song we could say that about, but it's coming up later. Let's keep some suspense. In the third spot, we have Ireland, Like a Party. Another silly one about a dog who died or didn't die, according to Emmy. People say it's catchy. I never really thought about it that way. I guess it is. I'm not such a big fan of this. It's pretty basic. I don't know what you would do with the staging. The one in the Irish national final was fine, but it looked like a kid's play or like a junior performance, kind of. And I don't know if it's really that appealing, but when we have like better executed girl bops in the semi-final, like Malta, Denmark, you name it.
Yeah, I think Emmy is a sweet woman. I think she is a good artist. I liked her Melody Grand Prix entries, like her entry rESCwatch was actually one of my favorites that year.
Same.
So yeah, so but for this one, I don't think this has that high chances to qualify. I think there is one other song I prefer over this. They have kind of similar sound, so that's why I put Ireland as non-qualifier.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Latvia. I mean, this is an interesting case because it can go either way, really. But for right now, I'm more of the opinion that it wouldn't qualify, sadly. It's very unique. Latvian used their own language, has like this chanting, singing, which is very intriguing. But I don't think as a 3-minute track, it keeps your attention a lot. I think you probably get lost a little bit or end up thinking about other things or doing other things and not voting for it as a consequence because it's a little bit forgettable even though it's unique and use like traditional elements.
I agree with you about it being a bit forgettable. I love that Latvia sent something in Latvian, but I think this is not really a strong song. I never listen to this on Spotify. I pretty much always skip it. And there is like 2 songs in the semi with like ethnic sounds, and one of them got pushed like more further away and got a better running order. I think producers kind of did Latvia dirty in this running order. I don't know. I have that kind of feeling.
Yeah. I mean, they did Montenegro dirty in the first place, but someone has to be in those spots, sadly. Okay, next up is Armenia, and I said I was bold enough to say that I think it is qualifying, but I'm not 100% sure about this. And I said it because
For me, this is borderline.
he doesn't have the best vocals. Not me. I mean, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. I think he looks good. Of course, the gays will vote for him. But the song is like it could be a radio pop rock And I'm not saying it will be super popular, but it has its audience. Armenia does usually some extravagant stagings, at least the last couple of years. And they also have diaspora. And yes, I can somehow see this making it.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, for me, this is a borderline qualifier. I do trust Armenia for them to making like a good staging. He looks good. I think he sounds good. And actually, like this, like I love him.
Same.
So yeah, I do think this could qualify. Like I do see a world where this could make it to the final, but as of right now, I have put it as like non-qualifier because there are more songs that I see qualifying more than this one.
And we're gonna come to that in a while. Next up is Austria. We all know this is qualifying. This is like a super big fan favorite, odds favorite to win.
No, but imagine
Not
if
bigger.
odds favorite wouldn't qualify if a odds favorite just would
imagine.
stay in the semi.
No, this is great. It's actually one of my favorites this year. Let me just take a quick moment to hype it up, I guess. It's like the grand production, immaculate vocals. The staging will also be done by the same guy that did Bambithag, as you said, with Cyprus. And Austria are really trying to win again after a decade. I would wish it for them. I don't know if it's happening because of Nemo's pop opera victory, but we will see about it. Very well done.
For me, I really can't connect with the song. I love Tay-Tay's vocals, like there is no like mistakes he makes. I think he sounds flawless live, but this song, I feel like this is like sounding too much like a songwriting camp song, and that's why I have a hard time to like connect with the song. But obviously Austria is going to the final and possibly winning the jury vote in the grand final as well. Yeah.
I mean, yes, they have like songwriting camps in the Swiss and Austrian internal selection. I know that, and people have complained that it feels fabricated and not genuine, and that, or doesn't have stage presence. But to be honest, I think many songs are nowadays entered to. Well, you should enter to win. If you're not doing that, I don't know what you're doing. So I think it's fair to criticize it, but it's also like, shouldn't you try to win?
I mean,
Really hard.
yeah, I mean, of course you should try to win, but I mean, you can also do it like the way that the song sound genuine. Like for example, last year Switzerland, I think that was really good song. But yeah, I mean, I do see the potential for this to win, but for me this is not maybe the winner. I don't know.
Yes, let's see how it turns out. Next up is also one of my favorite songs. What a beautiful ballad. It's Greece, and I think this can confidently qualify. It doesn't need elaborate staging. I think the melody is beautiful. I think her delivery is beautiful. I think Greece has diaspora obviously, and even Onirumu from 2018 qualified with the televote in one of the hardest semifinals. So I would be surprised if Greece didn't make it.
Greece is also one of my favorites. I love Greek language, and I am happy that they didn't go back to like Nordic sounding pop in English. I am happy that they chose another route. I can see this qualifying, but also this is kind of like a borderline for me. I would be super sad if countries couldn't qualify. Yeah.
Me too. Next up, we have Lithuania, and I see a lot of discourse about this. There's like really hard stands and really big haters of this song. But you can say whatever you want because Lithuania is like kind of a powerhouse with the televote. And they have been sending nice entries for some years. And this is very different. This is maybe not the pop songs that you are used to, but this has its audience. And obviously Lithuania has its backing from the public. This should have no problems qualifying, and I'm excited because we need more of this type of genre in Eurovision.
First of all, I have to say that Lithuania is one of my favorite countries in Eurovision. I think they have an amazing streak. They went from Monika Liu to Monika Linkite to Sylvester Belt to this one. Those are all amazing songs. I love this song, and Lithuania also has diaspora. I think they are pretty much safe qualifier in this semi-final, and I think they deserve to qualify as well. I really think this is an amazing entry for Lithuania.
Absolutely. Next up, we have Malta. Malta. Yes, this is one of the fan favorites, most iconic songs prior to the contest, viral on TikTok. Had to remove the one word, but we are still gonna say it. Can't. And she's iconic. I think this will be super fun. One of the most, cheerful performances of the whole night. And I would be surprised if the public didn't love this.
You know, as I mentioned with Albania, there are countries who are getting hype now who don't usually get hype. Malta is one of those countries, and I am super happy about it. This is one of my favorite songs of the year. I think they deserve to qualify. I think they could maybe get a top 3 or top 5 result in this semi-final, and I think Miriana Conte with serving count deserves that.
Yeah, I think that she can do the top 5 for sure. Next up, low-key propaganda for Georgia. It's interesting, it's boring, it's not qualifying.
I think this is pretty much dead on arrival. Yeah.
DOA. This is the second DOA. I agree. Let's move on. Then there is Denmark with Hallucination. I have to say, I can see a path where this can qualify. However, with the current staging, the staging in DMVP, which is very empty, she said she will change it. And that's the only problem. The vocals were never a problem. I don't know how well you can upgrade this. It is still a girly pop basic kind of song. And as I said, Malta is like probably preferred by the audience. Yeah, I mean there is a path, but I don't know how well they can upgrade the staging and if it's actually gonna work or not.
I put Denmark as my non-qualifier. However, I do see the path where Denmark could qualify if they change the staging we saw in Dance Melody Grand Prix. I absolutely love this song. I think she sounds very, very good.
Love her.
And on top of that, her social media content is
She's so
super
funny.
funny. So yeah, I would hope that Denmark would qualify because I don't think it's a good thing that certain countries fail to qualify year after year. So that's why I hope Denmark could qualify.
I'm excited to see the stagings. I think I will stay away from rehearsal footage though this year to get a little bit more surprised. Next up we have Czechia, which is, in my opinion, controversially a really good song, a great song. I don't mind the dance break. I think they can make it work. I'm a big fan of Adonis. I knew him before he was announced, and it's a good ballad. And Czechia, well, at least recently they know how to stage. And if Aiko can come close to qualifying, this is definitely in with a big shot, because I think it's a better song.
First of all, I do think Czechia is going to the final, but for me this song is interesting. It doesn't sound like it could compete in Eurovision 2025.
Which you do a lot.
I think this sounds like something we could hear in Eurovision 2017. It doesn't sound dated particularly, but it sounds old in a way.
You think so?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, as I mentioned, I think Czechia is going to the final. I think he sounds good. I think this is really much like, I think general public will actually vote for this enough for it making it to the final. Yeah.
I think it sounds sexy, not old, but yeah. I really like his voice. Obsessed. Yes. Moving on to the returning from last year, it's Luxembourg with their second entry again, and yes, this is another girl bop, but it's partly in. Is it entirely in French? I forgot. Yeah, sorry. It's in French and it has a clear concept. You can see even with the national final staging, which is surely not the end product, that this has a vision. This is about the doll, and the life of the doll and all these associations. And if you have a good theme, you stick to it and you commit, and your vocals are fine. I don't see why people wouldn't vote for this.
I think this is an.
It's not gonna come like top 5 in the semi, but.
Yeah, I think Laura is a good performer. We saw in the national final that she had a complete package. She sounds good. I think this has similar sound to Ireland, but I think Luxembourg is more safe than Ireland. I think general public will go for Luxembourg instead of Ireland.
Yep, check. Then we have another qualifier. Let's skip that. Moving on to Serbia, you said it's qualifying, which is probably a surprise to many people. Do you want to explain why?
Yeah, I mean, when this was selected, I was like, oh, this is not going to the final, but it got actually a good running order. It is second last in the running order. And on top of that, Serbia has a huge diaspora. We have seen in previous years that that the diaspora has pushed the certain entries to the final, like for example Luke Black was pushed to the final early by the diaspora. So that is the main reason why I think we will see Serbia in the final. Like, it goes to the category for me that some people would be shocked to see this qualifying, but for me, I can see this qualifying really like realistically. I wouldn't be surprised if diaspora would push this through. Yeah. That's main points for me.
I mean, for me, it's kind of on the same level as Montenegro. Yes, the staging can be better, but I think this year the Serbian national final, due to circumstances with the politics, was a little bit, or a lot weaker actually than like 2022, 23. And yeah, as you said, if Luke Black only came 10th place, really close to non-qualifying. I don't know about this one. I mean, you can throw the kitchen sink at the staging, but the song, you can even do a revamp with Zelko Joksimovic, famous composer. but I don't know if it's enough. I mean, this can come like close to qualifying, but I think it's gonna be left out.
Yeah, I don't think this deserves to qualify particularly, but I think this really
And
qualifies.
last but not least, we have Finland, which is an obvious duh. Of course, she's qualifying. Yes, we're super excited to see the rework performance.
I think this could like. I am happy that we are one of those countries that are considered as like safe qualifiers now, and I think Erika could easily win this semi-final. I think she has like really high chances for that. And I think like, yeah, I'm just overall really happy that we are qualifying for 5th
Exactly.
in a row. Yeah, that's my comments for that.
And we will see Finland in the top 5, maybe. Let's see. I mean, UMK had such a glow up. I think it's one of the best shows. Like, the quality is just unmatched. I think the only ones who can rival is probably Malfest, even though the songs are worse. And who else? Maybe MGP, but yeah. You know, UMK overall is in my heart. It's very dear to me now. So happy for you. And that concludes already all of the countries that we think are qualifying or not qualifying, and we will check after the semifinals in like less than 2 weeks to see which ones actually made it, and who knows, maybe do a discussion about that. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Panu, for joining.
It was a pleasure.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, watch our other videos. I hope there's more coming now again. And yeah, stay healthy, stay safe, and see you in Basel because I will be there. Bye! Bye!
Bye.